I've got 5 o'clock. I call the meeting to order today, Tuesday, September 7th, 2021. Roll call, we have Selectman Eric Eaton, Mackenzie Jewett, Kevin Buck, myself, Jamie Thurlow, Town Manager Jesse Dunbar, and Town Clerk Katie Dandurian. And Howdy called me and told me he would be able to make tonight's meeting.
I'll make a motion to excuse Howdy Goodwin from tonight's meeting.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to excuse Howdy Goodwin from tonight's meeting. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right. Adoption of agenda. Is there anything anyone would like to change? Okay. Approval of minutes. We have the minutes from Monday, August 23rd, 2021.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of August 23rd, 2021.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from Monday, August 23rd, 2021. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, we have warrants. These are all from fiscal year 22. We have warrant 23 for $9,219.92. 24 for $107,573.32. 25 for $9,380.71. And 26 for $19,366.68.
Make a motion to approve warrants 23 through 26.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve warrants 23 through 26. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right. Regular business. The first thing we have is the special town meeting warrant. Do you want to just summarize it for us, Jesse? I mean, obviously we have a copy, but.
Yep. So there's two documents in your packet. The warrant itself, which has the Article A for election of the moderator for the town meeting on November 2nd, and question 1 for the site plan review ordinance amendment, and question 2 for the 2021 campground moratorium ordinance. If you have any, if you notice any technical things you want to change or typos or anything, now's your chance to change them. Also, the recommendations, Katie set it up that the select board recommends adoption of the site plan review amendment, and we've set it up that you make no recommendation on the ordinance, seeing as it was a citizen's petition, but those are up to you. You basically have three choices: either recommend passage, not recommend passage, or make no recommendation. So if you want to change any of those. And then the second document is the notice of public hearing, which we tentatively set for October 4th.
Can I just make one quick comment? So
Yes.
in regards to question 1, the reason that I made that recommendation of the select board recommends adoption is I took it from the warrant that was created for last town meeting, assuming that you haven't changed your minds.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Does anybody have anything else they want to?
I mean, what do you guys think about the question 2? I mean, should we not make a recommendation? Should we say we don't recommend it? Should we leave it the way it is? I agree with Katie about the first one, but I'm just
I know we didn't.
like we issued the moratorium twice.
But as far as the citizens petition would be the only thing that I would think, if we, we really have no say or anything over the citizens petition. So I think
No recommendation.
No
is the way to do it.
I'm
That's-
comfortable with no recommendation.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I would think that would be how it would work.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve and sign the November 2nd, 2021 special town meeting warrant, and to sign the notice of public hearing for October 4th, 2021.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve and sign the November 2nd, 2021 special town meeting warrant, and to sign the notice of public hearing for October 4th, 2021. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? what was did you need anything else on that?
Nope.
I thought you had one more. Okay. All right. Next is Hazardous Waste Day. Jesse?
Yes, so in your packet, there is an email from Tony Smith, the Director of Public Works in Mount Desert, and the Chair of the Acadia Disposal District. I believe he's here tonight. I had a phone conversation with him. They had an issue holding the event at the high school where they usually hold it September 25th. So he has requested to use the town office facility here for that event. I'm sure he can explain in detail or answer any questions you have about the event itself.
I think it's great to have it here. I have no objection.
Right,
So
yeah.
I think
I've been here once,
Yeah.
and it worked really well.
Yeah.
The layout's ideal.
yeah.
And I'm living proof you shouldn't check your emails on your phone on the weekend. Because then you don't go back. Because I was given lots of notice.
Yeah.
It's quite a feeling when you are reminded at the 11th hour. But no, it worked really well here last week.
Okay.
We'll leave the property and find it or better.
Yeah.
If possible.
Yep. No, I think it's good. Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's good.
I'll make a motion to authorize the Acadia Disposal District to hold its Hazardous Waste Day event at the Tremont Town Office on Saturday, September 25th, 2021.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to authorize the Acadia Disposal District to hold its Hazardous Waste Day event at the Tremont Town Office on Saturday, September 25th, 2021. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Thank you.
Yes.
I'm extreme.
Yeah.
I have my own sweating meetings. But thank you very much. Many ways.
Yeah. All right. Community building use.
So this item is on your agenda. At your June 7th meeting, you passed a motion authorizing town manager to reopen this room and the community building after you had previously closed it during the pandemic in 2020. The school has recently is now requiring pre-approval by the principal to use the building. And as it stands, we still have the binder and the key format at Gott's door for resident use of the facility. There have been a few residents come in expressing their dissatisfaction with the school's requirement that the principal pre-approve people for the building. I'm sure you're all familiar with that situation. So I thought it would be wise to have you guys discuss where you're at with the building, whether you are in agreement with the principal pre-approving its use, whether you want to close it entirely for now, or whether you want to leave it as is against the school's wishes. I did speak to Jandria today. She is perfectly fine pre-approving uses like workshops or meetings or things like that. She's not comfortable pre-approving use of it for residents to play basketball. She just feels with, somebody in the school testing positive last week that it's, COVID's alive and well, and she thinks we should hold off on allowing residential use of it at this point.
Jessica.
First, excuse me, I'm asthmatic, so I'm having a rough breathing day, so bear with me. I might be a little bit short-winded. But I wanted to first bring your attention to a request that came about 2019, maybe even 2018, from the Harbor House community. Ingrid had requested use of the community building in order for us to also have events at our community building. And from my understanding, that has not crossed your plate at all. And I don't know if that has come into consideration at all while you guys have been making these community building decisions. But I also know a lot of that is because the that's his problem. The rec board continues to fail to meet. So I reached out to Ingrid most recently, faster. So what exactly would your needs be? And at this time, obviously, because of COVID, there's a bit of uncertainty of what those needs may be. But I really think that we need to start having that conversation, especially considering we've had such great collaboration between the pre-K and everything else that the Harbor House does for our community. So if we could just start facilitating that conversation at some point, maybe sooner rather than later, especially as we're starting to talk about the principal pre-approving it. And maybe all it takes is a town official to facilitate that conversation between Mrs. True and the Harbor House. And if it's something that the rec board does need to go ahead and just add to our bylaws, or if there's an MOU between the school, us, and Harbor House, that's something that maybe a more functional rec board can handle, but not our rec board.
Yes.
Yeah, and I just wanna give a little bit of historical perspective. So our prior, sports and recs, director was Mark Woya, and, he was given an ID so that he could, schedule use of the gym for rec sports and stuff. And then, he ended up leaving 2020 during COVID, which, you know, we weren't requesting use at that point. But once he left, I had asked Chris if our new director, Chris, the prior town manager, if the new director could get an ID so that when the time came, he was able to sign out the gym for rec sports. And Chris kind of shut that conversation down. I reached out to Jessica, was like, hey, you guys are the town is you know, gives us appropriation money to run rec sports programs, but it seemed odd that we weren't able to use town facilities to do those programs. It's rare for us to need it because generally we're trying to do practices and things on the fields and after school so the kids can get transported to our location in Southwest and use the Pematic gym. But on the occasion, sometimes we need it on Saturday mornings for the younger students, and there was just a barrier. So I figured we needed to at some point have this conversation, right? It just doesn't seem to align if we're being paid to provide programming, but yet we're not allowed to use the town gym. So we don't have any need for it right now, and if the school is not wanting outside entities in there, then we would navigate it differently. But when the time comes and the space can be used again, we'd like to be able to be in a position to use it if we needed to.
Yeah.
And that barrier came from that in the rec board's bylaws, it says you cannot have a reoccurrent reservation. And Ingrid and I had spoke extensively about how, you know, that's something that the rec board kind of wrote into new bylaws saying exception the Harbor House. But again, the rec board does not meet. So there's no way we can accommodate her request. So at this point, it's more like how do we move forward and meet all the needs.
I know. Start out, it's hard with the initial topic of community use, and I mean, it's hard to draw a line. It is a community building. The school does use it, so it's a really hard spot to meet the needs or the restrictions that the school has to have, and also allow people to use it as well. It's a Mackenzie, you might have more background on this than any of us.
I mean, I think if the school approves it, I don't see why there's any reason that Harbor House couldn't use it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those kids are going to be following the same sort of like COVID protocols as the kids going to that school anyways. And as long as the principal is okay, and I get it was way back when they didn't want any particular group to book it every Saturday morning because then I couldn't go in to play basketball, or you know, your family couldn't have a birthday party. But it sounds like it's not a every week kind of, or it could,
Well,
maybe.
our
might.
last request was that we were running up against Saturday morning basketball time for kindergartners, and so we wanted 8:15 to 9 o'clock for 6 Saturdays, and we were told.
You were told that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, it's rare for us to not be
able to facilitate the program over at the Pematic gym, but sometimes we need use of it. And in the past, I mean, COVID aside, right, we all recognize that this is throwing a wrench into everything all of us do. So outside of that, of a COVID time, it would be, can we have an ID so we can sign the gym out to use it? The last time, you know, we were told no, we couldn't because we were not an individual resident of the town of Tremont. Oh, okay, right, or not, but so.
I wouldn't see any issue at all with, I think that, I mean, my kids do plenty of activities at Pematic through the Harbor House as well, and I think, I mean, obviously, Southwest lets them use their gym, so I don't see there being any issue. I mean, that's what it's, I know it's for the community as well, you know, well, that is serving the community, so it's,
and
I
it's
mean,
serving our kids.
yes, yeah.
And I mean, the chances of, I mean, you might run into birthday parties on a Saturday morning, but like
Yeah.
pickup games, you're not going to be there at 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning.
No, and also, I mean, it's for, if you did something like that for 6 weeks, you're not talking like 12 months out of the year, every Saturday in the morning. So.
And it may be the rec board, and I don't know how we do that because we can't seem to get a meeting, but maybe there's something that's put in the bylaws just so it's covered, there's nobody's mad. We cover all of our bases, and as long as the school's fine with it, I mean,
Yeah.
what's the harm?
And I know if the rec board is having trouble meeting, but it's too bad you couldn't get something written in your bylaws or try to pull a meeting together somehow. Maybe Jesse could help with that as well,
What
and
we can do about that?
see if we can get.
To get them to meet.
Well, no, I mean, we've tried that. No, but to like tweak their bylaws or.
Yeah, I mean, and I think when I've talked to Jessica before, she's asked about the possibility of, you know, changing the bylaws so less of them are required to meet. But yeah, there's certainly ways you can amend their bylaws, but we just need them to meet to approve them. Change.
So on that topic, then I guess the best thing to do is just try the best we can to, or try the best you can to get someone to meet, so that you can get maybe some changes made in the bylaws. Jessica.
I hate to deflect from the bigger issue because the bigger issue is the community use during COVID and whether or not I have any authority still as the rec board's chair because we haven't met in forever. But I would definitely defer to Ms. Fish-True because our first priority is obviously to keep our kids in school. But we're not going to meet. I can't imagine how typically when I do call a meeting, I can only get me and one other person to attend. And that's with probably unconventional efforts too, in terms of knocking on people's doors. So in getting the rec board that can be a conversation for a different day, but I just wanted to put this on your radar because I don't think it has been put on your radar as much as it needs to be. And we're going to continue to run into these issues that fall between the cracks because the rec board is failing to meet.
Any ideas with that? Anybody besides Jesse seeing if he could help? You know,
I think we approve the bylaws for the rec board, don't
But Jessica can't change
rewrite
them
it.
on her own, right?
Jamie,
No, but-
if they don't show up X amount of times, like
Yeah.
3 in a row,
Yeah.
then they automatically are no longer on the board, right?
yeah,
Not all the boards have those restrictions.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the rec board has for, and that's why, like, do you want to wait for him to answer that? Or it's up to whichever is first. Do you have it in front of you, Jesse? Or?
Yep.
Okay.
A member who has missed 3 consecutive meetings will be asked by the board to submit his or her written resignation to the Board of Selectmen. So,
Everyone's
So that's
resigning.
everybody except for
So, I would say, call a meeting, Jessica, and,
So the issue is I don't have a meeting until I have a quorum. So I can't ever vote them absent because I don't have enough people for a quorum to vote them out. Which is the issue that I keep running into.
right.
That sucks.
I just a quick recommendation. So a lot of my background in leadership is through teamwork, and if one of us is failing, all of us is failing. So I would recommend the board to, I mean, not necessarily today, but maybe to reflect on it, but my recommendation is to terminate all of our seats and open up the rec board for only 3 spots, because we're all failing.
Was it 5 right now?
It is 5, and I have 5 full seats, and like I said, I can only get me and one other person to meet.
You have 5 empty seats is what you have.
Well, no, I have 4 empty seats.
Okay.
I got one. And I'm not sure I'll take out papers again. But either way, I think the recommendation here is if I can get one other person to show up, if I only have 3 people on the board, then that's a quorum.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can make things happen. Or not me, but in
So
the
it
best
sounds like
interest
no
of the
one wants to
community.
do it though, be on the board, so why are we, there's no point in chasing them. I mean, we just
Yeah,
need to.
and I do chase them, which might be
Well, right, that's the difference between you and I.
borderline harassment at this point, but that's okay.
Yeah.
And I do want to reiterate too that this is, they are great volunteers. Like I call on each of those members if I need information, if I need sound systems. They are great volunteers, but they might not be the best board members. And I have a great communication with both of them. Like we have a great relationship, or all of them. But it's just getting them to show up.
Yeah. I mean, if they're not interested in doing the task at hand, then we should, I think, look for anyone else that might want to do it, but we can't get anyone to volunteer for anything, so.
I think for now, just my 2 cents on it is the best way to go forward before we jump into any. I know we're off topic here a little bit. We're getting there, but if we just try to hold a meeting, work with Jesse to Jesse, you don't mind me work with Jesse to try to hold a meeting. Set a date, hold a meeting. If no one attends, then come. We'll talk about it. Does that sound good? Like bring it back to us as soon as this next meeting. You know, if it's in the 2 weeks, just say. Then the next meeting, just come back and we'll go from there.
The community building, I guess get back to that. The one thing that's come up, Jesse, I didn't hear you address it, is they've talked about having some public hearings there.
Yep.
And in general, Gendra is okay with that. She's
Yes,
pretty
yep. I know Comprehensive Task Force, Mark had already spoken to her about that one, and she
Yeah.
had given the okay for that.
Okay.
And that's what she said on the phone today. She didn't have a problem pre-approving.
Okay. I'm fine with her approving anything that happens in there ahead of time. I'm giving her that.
Yep.
It's a school building. It's used for the school.
Yeah, and it's such a hard juggling act. It really, I understand that it's like it's regulations are changing, or what we have to do can change day to day too on her part. So
Yeah, and we're not going to put the regular residential use in her hands. So
yeah.
what that aspect of it, what are we doing there? Just leaving it.
So is it open right now for like pickup
Yeah,
balls?
it's open
You
now.
can. It's like.
According to the school, it's not. According to the town,
Okay.
it is.
And the school would rather not
Correct.
have
Correct.
pickup ball or birthday parties, or well, she may approve a
Well, she
birthday
may
party or
approve a
something.
birthday.
Okay. I think she's the boss over there. I think she should be the ones that says.
She's trying to keep the kids safe. So
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And again, I have no problem with Harbor House using it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
those are our kids. They're not mine. Mine are old, but you guys have
Yeah.
kids that don't go through there.
Not all.
Not you.
Not anymore.
So what are you looking for here, Jesse? If are we trying to limit the use? Are you looking for a decision for us to limit the use of residential use,
Yep. If
and
you
then leave it open for special meetings or whatever is going to get used that Jandy will approve?
I'll get the motion right here.
Hey,
Uh,
can I just?
okay.
I just had a quick idea before you did that. That's all. I didn't mean to cut you. The only thing I was thinking is just because of the ease of people. Like if you take the book, say from God's, and you
Right.
take the key from God's,
Yeah.
the ease of someone getting a hold of Jandria versus coming into the town office. Maybe they could come in and say, I requested on this, if you held the book here,
Right.
and Katie, or not to give you another job, or Jesse, could pick up the phone, call Gendry and say, does this sound okay? Or, it might be easier to track than trying to find her and bug her at the school and bringing more people into the school. So
That's fine.
if we held stuff here. No, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you
No,
off.
no.
I thought of that one right last second.
Good idea.
Yeah, Jessica, and then I'll.
Yeah, so we have discussed that at different points in time, variously, the rec board has discussed that. And the idea that the librarian now has the book, because even with GOTS having the book, we've had lots of overbookings, and there's been lots of confusion about who has the key, who doesn't have the key, who gets to use it. So if that's an extra task you want to put on to the staff at this time, that's a decision you can make. But also, I want to just refer back to, then what is the purpose of the rec board? If we're still continuing not getting to make any decisions on anything. And granted, we're not meeting anyway, so we're kind of invalid. So I understand where you guys stand. But also, at the same time, somebody did swear in and tries to do the best.
So what are you looking for?
Wait, the key is with the librarian, is that what you just said?
Yes.
So the book and the key's not even at God's store anymore?
No, the books and the keys are at GOTS still, but there's been multiple complaints about just how inefficient that system is. I think Carrie and I have experienced it a couple of times where people have showed up looking to have a birthday party when we have a book there. So it's just, we've already come up with some problem solving, but we can't enact it because we don't need it. We don't
Okay.
need this unit.
Okay, so that's another day.
Yep, another day, no problem.
We're totally gonna have to deal with that.
Yeah.
I make a motion to authorize the town manager to keep the community building open with visitors to be pre-approved by the school principal and keep the booking system at the town office until further notice.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to authorize the town manager to keep open the community building and to have Principal Jandria pre-approve every applicant, every use through the town office, and the book to be held at the town office for scheduling. Sound close enough?
Good enough.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Should we say until further notice? Until, yeah.
Right, and you guys are gonna filter that, right? Yeah, obviously.
I think it's fine.
Okay. Yep. All right. All those in favor? Is that clear enough for you guys?
Yeah.
Just so, okay. I just want to make sure it's
Thank you.
good. Yep. All right. American Rescue Plan Act funds.
Oh, thank you.
So the American Rescue Plan Act funds that Tremont is anticipating receiving, they're supposed to be, the state is supposed to begin dispersing them this month. That was delayed from June. It's supposed to be dispersed in 2 segments, so half this year, half next September. And the state has just set up a new portal for the towns to go in and request the funds. And there's a checklist of things to complete in order to make that request. 2 of which are these 2 documents in your packet from the U.S. Department of Treasury. So I am just asking for your authorization to sign them and begin that process on the portal.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Don't have to make any decisions on how it's going to be used at this point.
Okay. You have until December 31st, 2024 to identify the use of the funds, and until December 31st, 2026 to disperse the funds.
And the funds are getting a little bit more restrictive as to how you spend them.
Yes,
Yep.
they're pretty restrictive, so
Yep.
you're doing plenty of research.
I'll make a motion to authorize the town manager to sign the awards, terms, and conditions agreement and the insurance of compliance agreement with the U.S. Treasury for the American Rescue Plan Act Fund.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to authorize the town manager to sign the awards terms and conditions agreement and to assure a compliance agreement with the U.S. Treasury for the American Rescue Plan Act's funds. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right, next we have the DEP Small Community Grant Program.
So the DEP Small Community Grant Program is a program residents who are in need of a septic system replacement that can't afford that replacement can apply to the DEP for a grant for that system replacement. They have to apply, or the town has to apply on their behalf to the DEP, and then if it's awarded, the town is in charge of getting the system designed and putting out to bid the system and paying for the system and then getting reimbursed by the state. So the application process for this one off of Bernard Road was started back in February, and in July we were notified that the state did award us a $25,000 grant for the completion of that project. It is 100% funded. They're not requesting any funds from the resident for the project. So the first step is to sign the agreement with the state through their digital portal to accept the grant. And once we do that, then we will begin getting the system designed.
Yeah.
And I did put a note in your memo that it does include reimbursement of up to $400 for staff time for the town to administer the grant and apply.
A motion to authorize the town manager to sign the service contract with the State of Maine Department of Environmental Protection for the Small Community Grant Award.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to authorize the town manager to sign the service contract with the State of Maine DEP for small community grant application. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay. Now we have Tremont School Space Committee.
It sounds more exciting than
No rockets, huh?
No rockets.
Space committee.
There's
So there was a request, I got an email from Chair Jessica Stewart, that they have formed a committee to look at the increasing space needs for the school, and they would like one of you to serve on that committee, if possible. And I asked her what their meeting schedule was looking like, and she said they thought it would be once a month, not on Monday and not on Thursday.
I wouldn't mind doing it as long as it stayed to once a month, just because I obviously have kids in the school and more kids to come in the school, so that, I wouldn't mind. Or I was gonna say, Eric, you're a few years off, but
I'm a few years out here. Let's not rush into things.
Yes. Not that makes a difference, but I think at least we hear we know what goes on, probably more so than if it's in your shore. I know there's no one here from. Well, I know. Yeah, are you?
I'm serving on that board as well.
Okay. And what do they think for? What do you guys? Is this just so preliminary that you're just guessing it once a month, or?
I think once a month for a school board commitment is a joke. I mean, this will be my third year, and it's like maybe 2-3 times a month. A week, 2-3 times a week that I'm having to meet. But we need to recruit. So yes, we are going to positively have a cute little packet for you.
I think that was a trust me.
We're going to have a cute little packet set up once a month. That's exactly what's going to happen. I think they're, like you said, it's still really early in the stages. We have a school board meeting on Thursday where we we'll receive an update from our chair, Jessica, on how far she's gone or who she's recruited.
Yep.
And then we'll find out a little bit more information, but I'm hopeful that it's once a month as well.
Yeah, because I wouldn't mind doing it if it was evenings, so it wasn't in the morning, and it is once a month. I just want to be upfront and honest that's, if you have it twice a month, that's fine, but I'm only going to be there once a month. I think that's,
Sounds like you
Lines
volunteered.
there.
but under those stipulations.
Do you come with a written contract?
Yeah.
Well, in that case, I make a motion to appoint Jamie Thurlow to the Tremont School Space Committee.
Second.
So moved and seconded to appoint me to the Tremont School Space Committee. Is there any discussion? Jessica?
I do have a question. This might be best suited for Thursday's board meeting, because that's what's happening. But do we know if it's going to be open up to the public at large, or if it's just going to be in selected individuals? Because I know both Roger and I will be on it, and we are both school board members. And I'm just a little concerned about the biases that we are picking and choosing where the members come from on that school board.
She didn't specify to me.
I don't know. Okay. All those in favor? I'm going to abstain. I'm voting for myself. Yeah. All right. Next is the Comprehensive Plan Task Force opening.
At the July Comprehensive Plan Task Force meeting, the task force had a discussion about removing member Sophia Bergman. She's not attended since the first meeting. The bylaws state after 2 unexcused absences from the meeting, members automatically removed. They voted in favor of not excusing her on July 15th and again on August 19th. That effectively removes her from the task force, leaving an empty at-large seat. So if you want to fill that seat, then you can make a motion to re-advertise it and fill it, or you can leave it.
Do we know if anybody's reached out to her? Like, has anybody called?
She's on all the email lists,
She's
but
moved.
somebody said
Oh,
she
she's
had
moved.
moved as
Okay.
well.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I believe Mark said he thought she'd moved out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I would say advertise.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'll make a motion to advertise an opening for a large member for the Comprehensive Plan Task Force.
Second.
So moved and seconded to advertise an opening for an at-large member for the Comprehensive Plan Task Force. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, Hill Rest Cemetery lot. We have a request from Arthur Rigsby to purchase lot 264, Hill Rest Cemetery.
Make a motion to authorize the town manager to sell lot 264 in Hillrest Cemetery to Arthur Rigsby.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to authorize the town manager to sell lot 264 in Hillrest Cemetery to Arthur Rigsby. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Right, heating oil. Not as low as last year.
Not as low as last year.
Yeah.
You received the bid packet from AOS 91. The lowest bidder was Acadia Fuel at $2.13 per gallon. Their bid in the packet had a 1-week expiration on it, but it fell between your meetings, so I called them last week to get an updated price for this meeting, and she said they were holding that price of $2.13 a gallon. If you would like to go with them again, they are the who we currently get the bid from last year's contract.
Don't see why not.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I understand stuff has gone up. I know last year was it was a fair amount lower. It was like $1.25 or something. You
Yeah.
don't quote me to that, but it was substantially lower.
Yeah.
But I understand it's. But yeah, it's still they're the lowest bidder. So go for it.
I make a motion to award the 21 through 2022 heating oil contract to Acadia Fuel LLC at the cost of $2.13 per gallon.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to award the 2021 and 2022 heating oil contract to Acadia Fuel LLC at a cost of $2.13 per gallon. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? All right. Jesse, town manager's report.
Alright, I'll try and get through this. It's been a while since we've read one. Major emphasis since the last regular meeting, which was August 2nd. I attended the New England Management Institute here at Sugarloaf, August 11th through the 13th. I've been monitoring the paving project at the salt sand shed. Cape Road paving is now complete, which completes the summer 2021 road improvement project. And been busy answering moratorium questions, campground questions, as well as having discussions with the town attorney about the moratorium before your last meeting. Minor projects of interest, I scheduled the roadside mowing, sent Frenchboro the memorandum of understanding that you signed at your last meeting. Been working on cemetery sales. I had a discussion with Katie and Trio regarding an upgrade that Chris had initiated for the Trio program. Conducted site visits to Dix Point with Public Works. They've been working on ditching out there. Worked on the remote participation policy for Planning Board, Comprehensive Task Force, and now the Harbor Committee. Been busy with CEO work and Planning Board work, meetings, prepping for the meetings. Filed the monthly General Assistance Report. Worked on the heating oil comparison. Forwarded DOT a sign request for a shore road. Met with Thurston's regarding a traffic issue turning into their property. Had my quarterly check-in with Eric. Cleaned up a fuel spill in the upper parking lot. Conducted a monthly staff meeting. Attended a governmental accounting workshop in Waterville. Solved an issue we had with the generator. Prepped for and conducted our quarterly safety meeting. And I had a meeting with the MMA loss control consultant to go over our safety program. We qualified for a reduction in our workers' comp premium by having this safety program. Updating Facebook, working on the American Rescue Plan research, arranged the DOT paving Hanson's potholes at their entrance, discussed the warrant and election process with Katie, and I met with Pat Kane regarding parking tickets. They're all set to begin issuing those this fall, and did my monthly check-in on Pacific Hall and prepped for Selectboard meetings. The office staff has been preparing for the audit, answering moratorium questions, preparing the warrant for the November 2nd meeting, and preparing ballot questions for printing. Public Works has been working on repainting the lines here at the town office. Worked on the speed radar sign that was damaged months ago, sent away for repair, came back and had the same error coming up on it again after about a week of being here. Near as they can tell, he thinks it's moisture getting into it. He seems to have a problem after rain or wet mornings. They assisted school with some sign posts and paving potholes, ditching on Dix Point, fixing storm damage to Cape and Turner roads, fixing the ditch on Dodge Point Road, mowing here at the town office and cemeteries, and Seal Cove and Wharf. Truck 2 went to Ellsworth for repairs. Troy attended the safety meeting, and trucks 3 and 9 were inspected. And the harbor master met with residents regarding some issues at the Seal Cove ramp. assisted Public Works with taking truck 2 to Ellsworth, repaired outlets and lighting at the wharf, met with residents regarding wharf permit questions, passed out renewal permits, helped Public Works on paving on Clark Point, spoke with residents regarding speeding jet skis in the harbor. He also attended the safety committee meeting, transient rental work, dock cleanup, and he responded to a complaint about netting on Back Beach and followed up with DMR. Received a complaint about the lights on the town wharf being too bright, and worked on the Trio system that's now on his laptop so he can process payments at the Harbor Master's office. Now, over the next couple weeks, I'm going to begin preparing, setting up the FY23 budget, the American Rescue Plan's research. Bodmin is scheduled to begin our audit tomorrow, and continuing to work with the planning board. They have a special meeting, so they have 3 meetings this month, working on the Acadia Wilderness application and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you, Jesse. Suggestions for the next meeting? Date of the next meeting.
I make a motion to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, September 20th, 2021 at 5 o'clock at the town office. Unless you're thinking about going to Zoom at this point.
We'll just say the town office for now, and then obviously if something changes, as things progress here.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to confirm the date of the next meeting for Monday, September 20th, 2021, 5 p.m. at the town office, unless changed in the meantime. Is there any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, now we have an executive session for CEO search.
I'll go for it.
Go for it then.
I'll make a motion to find that public discussion of these personnel matters could be reasonably expected to cause damage to the employee's reputation and or to violate the employee's privacy rights, and therefore to go into executive session to discuss the employment, appointment, assignment, duties, promotion, demotion, compensation, evaluation, disciplining, resignation, and or dismissal of an individual or group of public officials, appointees, or employees as permitted by 1 MRSA 405.6.a.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session for CEO search as read by Mackenzie.
Thanks for reading that.
Yeah, thank
Nightmares
you.
about those.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
They do get a little cumbersome sometimes.
Yeah.
You must know them.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, I know. You
would
could
think
close
I'd
your
have
eyes
it
and do it at
memorized
this point.
by
Yeah.
now, but no.